Okay, so let's get back into it. So number 17. 17 was the messy problem, right? And it's messy because the answer you get, which is completely valid, or hopefully is valid, is not present in the selections. So let's take a look at it. A hot air balloon was at a height of 2,180 feet. Okay, so we are 2,180 feet above the ground level. It then descended at a rate of 120 feet per minute. After 6 minutes, it descended at a rate of 150 feet per minute for another 3 minutes. Find its height after the 9 minutes. The 9 minutes, right? So it's a very important 9 minutes. So let's go back into the bulk of this. 120 feet per minute for 6 minutes, because that's how long it was descending at that rate. So we're going to do 120 times 6, which is 720. So that is descending 720 feet. Then it descended at a rate of 150 feet per minute for another 3. So we're going to do 150 times 3, which is 450, right? So that's going to be minus 450. So we are going to calculate that expression. So 2180 minus 720 minus 450. And that's going to give us 1,010. This is the answer. But as you can see, it's not there. So that's why this question is a little bogus. The correct answer is 1,010 feet, and clearly there's nothing there, so don't select anything. Just work out the problem and make sure you get 1,010, okay? Number 18, select all true statements. So there's all, which means there's more than one. So A says 2.3 plus a negative 2.3 is equal to 0. That's true. That's additive inverse property, right? So that is additive inverse, okay? B, negative 3.7 plus negative 4.1 is positive. No, it's not. That's still negative because I've got two negatives, so that's not going to work. C, negative 2.6 minus negative 12 over 4 is positive. Well, negative 12 over 4 is a negative 3. But there's a negative sign on the outside, which is going to distribute. So this is going to be 0.4, and that is a positive result. So we're going to have that being true. D is 5 over 2 plus negative 2.5 is negative. No, that's not true. That's 0, right? So 5 over 2 is 2.5, and 2.5 minus 2.5 is 0, right? E, 72 minus a negative 100 is negative. No, because the two negative signs make one big plus. That's positive, so that's not going to work either. So A and C are the answers. Okay? 19, which of the options below show a fraction correctly converted to its decimal equivalent? Okay, so let's go ahead and do that. Negative 5 over 2 is not 2.25, and clearly it's not because it would be negative, and that's not right. B, negative 7 over 4. Well, let's see. So we're going to do 7 divided by 4, and that is 1.75. The negatives work, so B is a choice. 12 over 5 is 2.4. I don't know. Let's do it. 12 divided by 5 is 2.4, so that works. D is 6 over 5 is 1.2. Let's see. So 6 over 5. That is 1 over 2. That is 1.2, right? And then E, negative 1/5 is negative 1.5. No, because negative 1 over 5 is negative 0.2. So our answers are B, C, and D. Okay. 20. Tyson is dividing negative 3 by a negative integer. Okay, we're going to check that in a second. Which of the following statements describes the quotient, or the answer? Quotient means answer from a division problem. So if I'm dividing negative 30 by a negative integer, let's just do negative 1. Let's pretend that negative integer is negative 1. That's 30. Okay, let's do another one. Let's do negative 30, and let's do a value that we can do easily by negative 2. Okay, so that's 15. So both results are going to be positive. Right? So let's see. A says it'll be positive and greater than 30. Well, nothing so far has been greater than 30, so that's not going to work. B says it'll be negative and greater than negative 30. Well, the answer isn't negative because we've got positives. C says it will be positive and less than or equal to 30. That's going to check out because clearly look what we've done so far. We've got a 30 and a 15. If I were to continue to get at negative integers, it would show that we would just be going downhill. So that's going to work. And then D says it will be negative and less than or equal to negative 30. That's not going to work, right? 21. Tim's math teacher asked him to explain the expression negative 8 times 7. Which answer should Tim give? Okay, well, let's see. The expression represents 7 groups of 8 positives. Okay, well, multiplication is grouping, right? So it doesn't matter what the numbers are. We've still got groupings. So 7 groups of 8 positives? No, we're the negatives. There's a negative here. It's negative 8. The expression represents 8 groups of 7 positives. No, where's the negative? The expression represents 7 groups of 8 negatives. Yeah, because there are 7 groups of 8 negatives. Or D, the expression represents 8 groups of 7 negatives. So both C and D will give you the right answer. But C is more appropriate to what we say because we have negative 8. Okay. 22, what is the sum of those 3 numbers? We're just putting this in the calculator, call it a day, right? Negative 3.8 plus 9.8 plus a negative 5.7 is going to be 0.3. Okay? So that's just a clear calculation. Double check your work to make sure you got it right. 23, which of the following expressions is equivalent to negative 6? All right, well, we're just going to put this in the calculator. 9 minus negative 17 is not negative 6. 3 times negative 2 times negative 1, that's also not negative 6. That's positive 6. C is negative 6 because if I distributed that, or if I just did 4 minus 1, which is 3, times negative 2 is negative 6. And D that's negative 12 over negative 2, that's positive 6. So C is our choice there. And again, just pop that in the calculator. Call it a day. 24 in Fairbanks, Alaska, the temperature one day was negative 18 degrees Fahrenheit. On that same day, the temperature was 83 degrees higher in Honolulu. Okay, so we were 83 degrees higher than the negative 18. So I'm going to add those numbers together to find out what the temperature in Honolulu was. Okay, so very easy calculation. Negative 18 plus 83 is going to give us 65 degrees. So that was the temperature in Honolulu. Okay. Last one, number 25. Which number is equivalent to 8 over 9? Again, I'm going to put that in the calculator. 8 divided by 9, which is going to be... Okay, now the calculator is going to give you something weird. It's going to give you 8, 8, 8, 8, 8, and then at the end it's going to be a 9. That last 9 is totally bogus. The reason the calculator does that is because it rounded up to stop itself from just keep going with 8s. But this is negative 0.8 repeating, okay? So we're going to do A. Now, we know that this is the answer because look at B. There's no repeating bar, and the 8s clearly repeat. C is totally bogus, and D, we don't round, okay? So we've got our answers there. Good to go. Hope this was good and helpful. See ya.